Johnny Marr is a friend of yours since
Yeah.
a long time.
Yeah.
But do you remember and do you want to tell us when you first met him and first talked to him?
I met him. He has a brother called Ian, who was in electronic for a while, and it's a long story, but you have to stick with it. I was in Manchester. When Johnny was in I bought their most recent record, which was called Dusk at the time, and I was coming back from the record shop and I bumped into Ian, and he seen that I had a copy of Dusk, and I knew Ian, but I didn't know he was Johnny's brother, right? I had no idea. I knew Ian from going in the Hacienda, and he said, "Oh, my brother's on that record," and I was like, "Who's your brother?" And he said, "Johnny," and I was like, "Johnny Marr?" And he said, "Yeah," and he asked me. I told him I was in a band, and he said, "Oh, have you got a demo?" And I said, "Yeah," and he said, "If you've got it, I'll give it to Johnny." And I said, "Okay," and I gave him the tape, and then a couple of days later, Johnny Marr called me at home and said he liked it, and did I want to go for a drink? And we went to a bar and sat and talked about music, and I was like, no words. And then we just became great friends, and that was it. And this is before we even had a record deal. We had no manager, nothing. And he was the first person outside of the guys in the band who showed any interest in it at all. No one in Manchester was fucking remotely interested in what we were doing. And then Johnny was like, "This is great, who writes the songs?" And I was like, "Well, I write the songs." And he's been very supportive. And even now to this day, you know, if I'm in the studio and like I'm doing Pretty Boy and I'm struggling with it and I'm kind of like thinking it needs something, but I don't know what it is, I can call Johnny and just say, "What are you doing next week?" And he'll you know, he comes to the studio and plays on it. It's fucking amazing. And he's got the Holy Spirit in him. He's got the spirit of, and it goes without saying he's an astonishing guitarist, but he's a really great guy as well. I love him, yeah. The way that he works is quite astonishing, because he won't listen to the track before he comes to the studio. He has no idea what he's doing. He'll come down, he'll have maybe 2 guitars and some effects pedals, and he just comes in and he listens to the track for the first time and he goes, "Oh, okay." And then he just plays, you know, and more often than not, he gets it really quickly. And so for Pretty Boy, he kind of played a couple of things, and then it was within, I'd say, the first half an hour that he played the riff, and it was like, that's it. And then we just worked on that, and honestly, I mean, I don't know, there's no words to describe how it feels when one of your heroes and is a fan of yours and vice versa, and then it all comes together. It's a great feeling.